that. That will also bust your seals. Do a little bit of maintenance on them, check the shafts, make sure there's not burrs, things like that on them. That will help keep them from leaking. But in the end, I still have never found a set of shocks that doesn't leak. So what I've came to, and some of you guys may not like this, but it is what it is. I don't give a shit about shocks. I will make sure they look the part, and half the time I will just put a couple of drops of heavyweight oil in there, usually like 35 to 50 weight. I'll put like 1 or 2 drops in there, maybe 3 drops, enough to lubricate the shafts and make sure that the seals are lubricated. And I'm calling it a day. I shut them up, leave it, because if I fill them to where they should be at, they're going to start leaking within a week anyway, and it drives me crazy. I can't stand it when I see the greasy mess under my builds, or on my mats, or on my benches, or anywhere. So that's usually what winds up happening, is I will put 2 or 3 drops of shock oil in there, and call it a day. And I'll usually cycle and make sure that the cycle good, and make sure that there's no funniness going on, no catching, no weird sounds, no weird things like that. But yeah, I put enough in there just to lubricate the shafts, the shafts, and the seals, and that's it. And then I send it. I will usually, because they're heavier, I will usually run them to where I don't know what you call it. It's not droop, but where it sits down. With the shocks compressed about 75%, and to where they have like 25% upstroke left, right? And then 75% of like downstroke, where it can like actually like extend out. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology. I'm not a shot guy, but yeah, I'm sure you guys get what I'm saying. And so that's usually what I do. I make them a little bit stiffer in the rear than I do the front. Always. Even if I run a sway bar up front, I will still run them really soft and loose, really, for the most part. In the rear, I usually run them a little bit stiffer. Not a lot, but a little bit stiffer. Not always, but I try to always run a sway bar. It helps a lot. Sometimes I run it in the front, sometimes I run it in the back. It just depends on the build and the weight distribution, things like that. So that's something. What's up, Bucks RC? It's going good tonight, man. Yes, Shannon, there's no option to replace those heavy China and wheel rings. I agree with you, really. I agree. Mom to put on my model stuff because I won't get a job. I told her I will when I turn 36. I turned 36, but I still don't have a job. It's okay. TRX4 shots are the best shots ever had, never leaked. I've never tried TRX4 shots. So maybe you're correct. Maybe those are the best shots. I've never tried them though, so I'll have to see. I have stock shocks. SAX shocks on E4, shortened them to 80 mil, and posted a video that bounced on rocks. And most people said it looked like it was looking real and running smooth. I agree, Brandon. I saw that video, and it was awesome. Okay, you talked about shocks. Let's talk about springs. What length for what bounce? Bro, it's beyond my technicality range. Not that I can't, or not that I haven't put the effort into doing that. It's just I lost interest in spring rates and all that fine tuning with shocks so long ago. Like, let me give you an example. Right? Let me show you something. Look at this. That's what happens to all my shocks and my springs. This is what happens. I used to.
Or how to get your first 1,000 subscribers and how to earn your first $1,000 online. I'm also going to be sharing some lessons that I personally learned the hard way, so you can go faster and avoid the mistakes I've made in my YouTube journey. I'm also going to be sharing some tips for making money. And then imagine 12 months from now that you are maybe holding even a silver play button. I believe you can get to your next 1,000 subscribers soon. But beyond that, what about 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers? The strategies you're learning in this very training, you're going to be learning exactly how to get those kinds of results. Hey, if you're just joining, this is our YouTube 1K challenge. We're actually doing this in a private Facebook group. You might be watching this first session on YouTube. And over the next 3 days, we're actually going to be covering 3 of my favorite strategies for crushing it on YouTube. Today, we're going to be covering the ASU method, the simple and easy YouTube strategy that anyone can do to get 1,000 subscribers and beyond. Tomorrow, we're covering the TSS method, how to turn your knowledge and life experience into views and make money on YouTube. And then day 3, we're covering the RSS method, the best type of YouTube videos for earning $1,000 to $10,000 per month. Throughout this entire series, you're going to be seeing these green dollar signs, and these are moments for the money. These are the moments where we're going to be talking about the different ways to monetize on YouTube. So be looking for those and listening for the sound effects. And if you haven't registered for this and you want to be a part of the challenge, just go to 21kchallenge.com. And there's also, of course, a link in the description down below. Now, I have a question from you. Where are you watching from in the world? Drop that in the comments. I'm coming to you from Seattle, Washington. I'm fired up today. And if you want to share during this special event, then use the hashtag #GrowWithVideo on your favorite social media platform. So myself and the Think Media team can engage with you over the next few days. In fact, if you tag me on Instagram at Sean Cannell, maybe on stories, use the hashtag #GrowWithVideo. I'm going to be giving away copies of my book, YouTube Secrets, all week long. We're going to be giving away ebooks, the physical book, we'll ship it to you. And so all you got to do is just tag me at Sean Cannell, specifically on Instagram, on stories, and use the hashtag so we can see the post, share the post, find me, connect with you, and would love to connect. Today's topic is the ASP method, and we're going to be talking about the simple and easy YouTube strategy that anyone can do to get 1,000 subscribers and beyond. We're going to share some new YouTube stats that you need to know as far as the state of YouTube right now in the second half of 2021. The powerful YouTube secret that I learned from Dave Ramsey and Gary Vaynerchuk, and how to use the ASP method to get views and earn money and a whole lot more. So if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, this is different than kind of your average video, right? Get a journal, get a pen, because we're going deep with some real strategy that will get you results. And the first question, though, is why YouTube? You know, why YouTube? Why go all in on YouTube right now? Well, I don't know if you've heard, there's 2.3 billion monthly active users on YouTube right now. Sometimes it can feel like, man, it's 2021. Sean, is it too late to start? It just feels like competition is getting bigger every day. And that is true. That's an accurate observation. But it's not the full picture. The full picture is there's also more people watching YouTube every single day. In fact, the pandemic accelerated the consumption of online content. And there are people all over the world that are looking for content about specific things, about their interests, about things they want to discover, communities they want to connect with. So this amount of people means your audience, your community, your business owner, your customers, if you're looking for leads, like whatever it is, they're on YouTube. 2.3 billion monthly active users, and this next decade is going to be the best decade on YouTube because YouTube continues to grow. So it's a really good time to be going all in. Additionally, if you haven't seen, SignalFire did a study of what's called the creator economy. And I think there's something about making a decision to say, that's my economy, like that's the business I'm going to go into. I don't know if you were like me towards the end of high school, you started to go to a career counselor, and they're like, what college do you want to go to? Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, dude, I want to be like Richard Branson, dude. I'm trying to like fly in a plane. But he didn't pass the Kármán line, so is he really an astronaut? I don't think so. Listen, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. You know, the fastest growing small business type right now is content creators. This is not my opinion. This was a full deep dive of it being, you can see it underlined there. And what's crazy is that the amount of money in the creator economy just continues to grow. Over the next couple of years, this is going to double. It was saying that there's 2 million content creators, earning over 6 figures or 7 figures a year. But there's like another 48 million that are on different stages, and 6 figures is a crazy target. Like imagine if you just earn an extra 5K or 10K or $33,000 a year doing what you love as a content creator, as a YouTube creator, or connecting YouTube to your current business. This is a real thing. I grew up in a small town, and sometimes people around me would be like, why are you making YouTube videos? Why don't you get a real job? Well, 10 years ago, that was like an accurate thing to say. Like that's fair enough, right? But now I'm able to say, get a real job. This is a real job. Like data supports that this is the fastest growing small business type. So This is a real thing, and what I want you to hear from me and the Think Media team is we're not trying to overhype anything. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just feels like, oh, you're just trying to no, we're presenting data to you. So it's up to you to view that data with a cynical perspective, or to actually say, man, if I learn the right strategies, if I get the right business model, I position myself right, I get the right skills, and this is a real thing that can make a real impact in my life and in the lives of others, because the creator economy is on fire, and that's what's happening really over the next decade. Now, the biggest thing though, and lean in because this is real strategy, we have to understand that YouTube is the best place to invest your time. There's a lot of social media platforms, but YouTube is a discovery machine, which makes it different than other platforms. What do you mean? Well, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, cool platforms, right? And by all means, people are crushing it on these platforms, TikTok influencers, I get it. But YouTube is different than all of these other platforms. See, these other platforms are content feeds, right? It's a constant feed, just an algorithm feeding you content. YouTube is unique because YouTube is a content library. You ever remember going to the library in the Dewey Decimal System? Like you go to the librarian, you're supposed to study history, and in the moment you write a paper on a historical event, you went to the library and they took you to the history section, to the exact book, C521. I don't remember the Dewey Decimal System at all, but like they would take you and you would go to that specific piece of information. That is what YouTube is. It's not a content feed, although it has the power of both, because the algorithm will suggest videos to you on your homepage. But it's a content library. And when somebody has a problem, or when somebody wants to learn something, or when somebody's looking for a piece of information, they can find your content and listen. It might have been a video you posted a month ago. It might have been a video you posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I've got videos that are 10 years old that people still watch. That's different than every other platform. So when I'm asking, in this competitive world, where should I be spending my time? In this noisy world, where should I be spending my attention? YouTube is a strategic place to be thinking about that, because it's the only platform where your content lives forever. Why? It's the second largest search engine. It's a search engine. Now let me illustrate. This is a video that came out June 11th, 2018. All right. So this video is 3 years old, a little bit older than that now. You can see the upload date. This video gets 107 views every 60 minutes. Every hour of every day, around 100 people watch this video. Every hour. When I'm asleep, they're watching this video. When I'm working, they're watching this video. When I'm out with my wife shopping, they're watching this video. When I'm eating lunch with my family, they're watching. So this video is working for me when I'm not working. And if you look at some of the results, look on the right side. This is where you see your analytics. And it says where views are coming from. Half of those views are coming from YouTube search. When somebody is looking for music to use for their YouTube videos, they're discovering this video. The video has earned $14,666 at the time of taking this screenshot. And this video has produced some absolutely crazy results. So why do I share all that? Well, this challenge is all about how do you get your first 1,000 subscribers? How do you get your first $1,000? This one video has grown my channel, Think Media, by 36,000 subscribers. It's earned $14,000, just one video. Now, I get it. I'm not suggesting that's going to be your first video you upload. But you start seeing the power that, okay, if I'm using the right strategies, and we're going to get into today's method, and we got 3 methods over the next 3 days, then you can get here a lot faster than most who are approaching YouTube the wrong way. And this is why some of the most consistently influential entrepreneurs use YouTube.
I do have a skill transmission. I've got RC4 Drive skill transmissions inside the Blazer. I got the RC4 Drive Blazer, the premium edition one, remember? How? JJ's. So I got that skill transmission. I'm actually getting ready to start working with that. The build is sitting over behind me. I've been putting in work on it. It's actually pretty dope. I just need to do some interior stuff now. I've got the factory lack of interior, so I'm going to figure something out with that. And then I need to switch up the motor in it. But other than that, yeah. like it a lot. I just, as far as books go, I just haven't abused them, too much. And then I have tons of still transfer cases that I've used over the years, like these types of shit. Oh, mainly RC Pro Drive ones, which are cool, but
This video, we're going to guide you on the journey to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. But in order to do that, I need your help. So before the end of the intro, answer this question. In this video, we're going to guide you on the journey to 1,000 YouTube subscrirbers. But in order to do that, I need your help. So before the end of the intro, answer this question in the comments below. Why do you
unboxing videos on Patreon tomorrow.
Let's do this.
Maybe there's still transmission involved. I may be lying.
Alright then, if your answer was something along the lines of, because I want to monetize my YouTube channel, well, don't forget the 4,000 hours of watch time as well. If your answer was because I want to monetize my YouTube channel, well, don't forget that you also need to apply for the YouTube Partner Program and be accepted into it, so there are no shortcuts. YouTube will be checking whether or not you're trying to buy subscribers or manipulate the metrics. And if it's because you want to monetize your YouTube channel, then you're not thinking about your audience. Can you see where I'm going? Now, if it's because 1,000 people represents a huge community that has put their faith and trust in your content to inspire and educate, then you're on the right path. We've uploaded over 600 videos on the vidIQ YouTube channel now, and we've had over 2 million comments now. I haven't read every single one of them, I must confess, but the overriding theme of a lot of these comments is a lack of understanding and mindset of the YouTube platform. Most new creators, naively and understandably so, are thinking more about what they can get from the YouTube platform rather.
YouTube monetization is something that every new
Shout
YouTuber
out to the
thinks
person
about
who spotted
in the back
the
of their mind when they start
Togic
channel.
popping off
Getting
dope
paid
one in
for
the
the
last
content
video
you
in
love
the
creating
backyard.
is something that all of
And
us
when I was
on
looking
the
for it, I
platform
found
want
it.
to actually
I
do.
gotta keep digging dirt.
But the requirements to get monetized on YouTube and get paid for the ads that show up in your content require you to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Now, in a previous video, we actually talked about exactly how to get the first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you haven't watched that, just go to the link in the description down below. Today, I want to focus on 4,000 hours of watch time specifically and tell you exactly how to get 4,000 hours of watch time for your YouTube channel so you can apply for monetization in YouTube.
I saw Tyler
Now,
actually
I
wrote me.
hope some of you
I haven't had a chance to get back from him. But you guys need to visit. Miss you guys. Definitely need you guys to visit. I want to see, let's see this. You guys don't find babies popping up lately. Oh, it sounds like Canopy Zone too. Just heard doors. I hate those full dress shots, depressing and brass, and get so much slop. I agree. They do get a lot of slop. I still like the look of it. I like my coffee, I like my weed, and ground up and in the freezer. Shit. Like rain. I don't even get demonetized well.
Right, that has been tuning in, like,
I
subscribe,
just throw your like or something.
sharing. I'm back with another story. This is the story I think y'all want to hear. This is the story of how I got
What's wrong with
indicted.
you guys?
How I got indicted. Now, me, I was man of my own
That's the worst part of
motherfucking
life,
business,
folks. Honestly, I'm the worst
own
with
business,
lifers, man.
hustling and getting
I
money.
keep a good eye on them. I have an ammo can that I keep them in.
Hey, everybody.
If they're not readily in use, but some of them stay in trucks. You guys are gonna flame me for this, but some of them stay in trucks. Some of them sit right here. Actually, this phone is sitting on one right now as we speak. There's another one right here. My life was a bit used. It's not tough or anything, but this is like it's from back when I was sponsored by Venom.
Called you and kept that behind the
like
scenes.
3 years ago.
Man, hey man, and look, I
beat on him.
I don't even want to do it no more. I really feel like 3 years with Raw. I just feel like he said, "Oh, work out between us." First thing he do, he jumped right on live and hit you with the, "Oh man, I can't work with you, man. You
The
trying?"
key is to not abuse him and to
then when I said
understand
it,
the
when I
actual
first said
science
it,
behind this.
Oh man,
But you don't mess them up. You can see mine are even like, look at it, they're missing.
he could have called you and kept that behind
I'm
the
not
scenes.
giving life advice to you
Man,
guys
hey man, and
because for all I know,
brothers trying to
some of you guys
brothers
could be
trying to
absolute
brothers.
idiots and could burn your house down.
y'all look at me like I was crazy. I already knew what
I'm
he
not
was
giving
coming
my
to.
advice. Follow the rules.
The only reason why he ain't crossed Hassan Campbell out yet is he feel like Hassan Campbell is he's waiting to conquer Hassan
Take
Campbell.
on the liability of telling you guys how to think about
Kwame
it.
Brown, he really feel like he don't
personally,
need you. He just said
I
it.
don't
He
do
was
whatever
live.
it
I was
is.
watching.
I don't Michael Bags.
He don't need it. He
all
said
that stuff.
Kwame Brown, he don't benefit
I don't-
working with Kwame
I
Brown.
sit in here with them most of the time.
He gonna use y'all until he cannot have to deal with y'all no more.
Is that my
You
boy?
know, y'all-
I know ladies kind of have they have a lot of soul out 5'5" that can make them, you know. These is kind of hot. Let's go quick, let's go ahead and do some Doritos down.
You want to say hi to everybody? Look. Say hi to everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Hey, buddy. Say what's
Yes,
good,
ma'am.
man.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah, we stand in line like the Count Chill chow line.
You got a phone?
Run the line in the back. Oh, I apologize, ma'am. I am a gentleman. Let me go ahead. Oh, this is the front. Oh, I apologize. I'm not the class. All right, what's back? How you doing? Let me go ahead and get the tuna issue. Foot long. Let's go ahead and eat bread. Let's go ahead and East Coast it. Let me put it in that thing right there. Let's do a week. East Coast it. Can you put it in there? They give you 5 feet. That's all good. Let's do it something East. Oh, hood. Some swag do it real Easty on hood. Easty. And also, can I grab a little bit of what kind of meat issues you got here?
Hey, mama.
Can I have a little mustard, a little mayonnaise? And I want a little meat, a little bit. Got meat? Shredded issue, something? Or rough, cold old English, ice cold beer.
Chicken greens.
What
That's
that's not the help.
What do you want? What you want?
Oh,
All right, ready? Go, some money.
$14.
Oh, here, I'm on for your windshield. On your truck. Take it out there so mama can fix it. Good job, bro. Love you. That's us. Mwah. All right. Family center, always. This boy is obsessed with motor t-shirts. Let me get back to these here. I bought a Hobby Wing Axe setup. What was that? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I forgot about your deal. I'll be on a minute.
Come on. Come here, me check out. Come here, me check out.
Can't believe nobody's in here still.
Oh, you can change that usually by either swapping, depending on if you're running the brush motor. If you're running the brush motor, you can just swap polarity, positive, negative. Or if the
Is it too late to start a YouTube channel? This question comes up every single year, whether it's 2022, 2023, 2025. Everyone is always going to believe that it's too late to start a YouTube channel. So the question is, why would you even think that? Now, I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I actually started doing consistent YouTube content in 2013. And guess what? Back then, people were saying the same thing. It's too late to make it on YouTube. Everything is saturated. There's never been anything that I've ever done successfully on YouTube where there weren't a lot of people competing at it. But you know what YouTube is not saturated with? It's not saturated with quality content, and it's also not very diverse in the type of content or the type of creators that have succeeded, not just yet, which means there's plenty of opportunity for you. I'm going to give you some statistics and facts.
I'm just gonna keep waiting for y'all
Probably never
to come in.
If you're worried about being
As long as it
oversaturated
takes.
and competitive on YouTube, that's just your insecurity talking. There is still plenty of room at the top of YouTube. And the reason I know that is because there are only about 300,000 content creators in the entire world with silver play buttons that have over 100,000 subscribers. I have over 500,000 subscribers. I'm a silver play button holder. I got mine in 2016, and I upgraded upgrade to the new style version, so I have both designs, which is actually pretty dope. It'd be great to get gold one day. Speaking of people who have gold, guess how many people that is? It's only 30,000 creators who have gold play buttons. And as of making this video, it's less than 1,200 that have diamond, and most of those are big major outlets and networks for the top YouTubers on the entire planet. And what that means is there are less than 1 million content creators in the entire world, despite there being 2 billion viewers on YouTube. There's still less than 1 million content creators who've even got a silver play button. There's plenty of opportunity. Let you in on a little secret. Channels that have silver play buttons aren't always YouTube creators, and it's not 300,000 people, not 300,000 creators. For one thing, some creators have multiple silver play buttons and multiple channels. Some even have as many as 10 of them to themselves. And there are plenty of companies that have multiple play buttons in terms of media companies, tech companies that happen to have popular YouTube channels, which means the amount of homegrown YouTubers that have silver play buttons is probably closer to maybe 180,000 people as of making this video. It's still not even close to being 1 million or 500,000 people. So what that means is in terms of top tier YouTubers, there's still plenty of room. How can it be saturated when there's not even 1 million people in your niche that are very, very successful? When there's not even 1 million YouTube creators that are very, very successful and have built large audiences. If 1 million people haven't built large audiences across the entire platform, across every language, every country, and every type of content, think about it. Collectively, that's not that many people at the top. And to prove it to you, I want you to understand this. It's estimated that there are 75 million to 100 million content creators worldwide right now. So guess what that means? That means that we have not even come close to peaking. Not even close, because not even 1% of all the potential content creators have actually even built an audience of 100,000. So there's still massive opportunity. In terms of monetized YouTube channels, there are only 3 million channels in the YouTube Partner Program. To get into the YouTube Partner Program, like I've talked about in videos about YouTube monetization, you can definitely watch those, especially if you're trying to get your first 1,000 subscribers, get your first 4,000 hours of watch time. I've made detailed breakdowns on this, but there's only 3 million people in the partner program, which means that the far majority of content creators don't even earn money on YouTube. It's not even 10% of the people on the entire platform that have been able to meet YouTube's monetization requirements. And what this tells you is what I said earlier. YouTube is not saturated unless you think it's saturated with mediocre content, below average content people don't want to watch. Sure. If you're watching this video, it means that you're probably trying to monetize your YouTube channel and enter into the YouTube Partner Program so you can start earning revenue from uploading your videos to YouTube. What you need to know is that in the first quarter of the year, the YouTube Partner Program has actually changed and might be a little bit different than you might remember. There's also some really good information if you're not familiar with YouTube monetization or have not previously had a monetized YouTube channel. This is going to be extremely important to you. One of the newest features of the YouTube Partner Program and monetization is that you actually get direct chat support with YouTube creator support in your YouTube dashboard, and you'll be able to reach out to them. And I know this because I actually just monetized my podcast channel very recently, and so I can tell you the latest requirements for the YouTube Partner Program and some updates to YouTube monetization that you may not be aware of. One of the most important things is that the actual requirements for YouTube monetization have changed. And so if you're not aware, you still do need 1,000 subscribers, which we will talk about, 4,000 hours of watch time in 12 months. You're going to need to do two-factor authentication, which means probably a device like your smartphone to do that two-factor authentication. And a lot of this is for security. There have been a lot of people whose YouTube and AdSense accounts have been hacked, have been
GCM has some pretty cool options too as far as chassis go. So it's really hard. GCM to me kind of reminds me of
compromised, so you'll definitely want to do that. Also, you need to make sure that you have 0 community guideline strikes on your YouTube channel, and you also have to be in compliance with all of YouTube's monetization policies, which also have been updated. And you want to make sure you're checking on whether you're still in compliance with those things if you haven't been monetized previously. With regard to getting the 1,000 subscribers for YouTube monetization, there's no time limit on that. However, when it comes to the 4,000 hours of watch time, it is 12 months. Now, a lot of people have asked questions in the comments on videos like this about, well, what do they mean by 12 months? Does it go back to 0 after 12 months or not? It is basically every 365 days, so it's the last 12 months. It is a rolling, continuous thing. So if 12 months confuses you, just think of it as the last 365 days, and that shouldn't be a problem. With regard to community guideline strikes, these are very different from YouTube copyright strikes and copyright claims. Copyright strikes do not affect your eligibility for the YouTube Partner Program. However, a large number of content claims might end up making you ineligible because it means that you're not using original content, and if your channel has a habit of not using original content or not really being within the bounds of true fair use, then you could be disqualified from being eligible to even apply for YouTube channel monetization. As for the monetization policy rules, this has to do with a few different categories, things like reused content, also not having those copyright claims of using other people's content without permission. Also, there are going to be some quality guidelines if you're making children's content. These are policies that could update and change over time, so you'll want to constantly be aware